How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Only 6 out of 45 wallet brands have undergone penetration testing report. A July report from cybersecurity certification platform CER saw that only 6 cryptocurrency wallets have undergone penetration testing, where they try to get hacked and someone tries to use nefarious purposes for the software. So only a few have undergone this, so you don't really know how secure your wallet really is then. The 3 brands that have done up-to-date penetration tests are MetaMask, Zengo, and Trust Wallet. Rabby and Bifrost performed penetration testing on older versions, and Ledger Live did not disclose what version they did penetration testing on it, but they did do penetration testing. They did rank all the wallets by most secure, so MetaMask, Zengo, Rabby, Trust Wallet, and Coinbase Wallet were the most secure wallets. So you can see that ranking right here, and the different apps and platforms they're on. SEC seeks interlocutory appeal in Ripple case. So the SEC is basically saying that they want to have this decision overturned that Judge Torres made, and they said that there is substantial ground for differences of opinion as reflected by interdistrict split that has already developed. They're referencing the Terra Labs case where the judge there said that they believe that Judge Torres was wrong, so now they're calling for it to go to an appellate court. Microsoft AI integration sends Aptos token APT soaring 13%. So Aptos announced that they're partnering with Microsoft. They said they're joining forces in a multi-year partnership to expand global Web3 and Microsoft Azure Open AI service and Aptos blockchain technology. So they're partnering to launch a chatbot. Here it is. This chatbot is going to act as a customer service for anyone who wants to get into the network or develop on the network, and they want help with the project building. So this AI wants to be like a tool that'll help the developers and anyone interested in the network. This is good because this is a big partnership. Microsoft using a blockchain shows that this technology could be around for a while and that it is going to have real world use cases. So anyone that says, oh, crypto has no use, show them that. Amazon is giving away free gaming NFTs. Here's how to claim them. So there's 2 different games. You had to be a Prime member to get these. You get playable characters, special outfits, skins, and as well as like in-game currency. The 2 games are Moho Melee, Blancos Block Party. So these 2 games will give you some free stuff. For Moho Melee, until August 30th, you'll be able to claim a free pack of in-game content that includes Polygon NFT for in-game champion Gwen Rockhopper, as well as 885 ore, which is an in-game currency that is not crypto, so you can't sell it. The Blancos Block Party, you're able to get a free character with a free helmet called the Midnight Crest Helmet, plus you'll get 200 in-game Blanco bucks to do as you will to buy additional content, plus a 10,000 EXP boost that'll come with the helmet. So onto the charts. We did try to come up, fill that gap again, tried to start a breakout, and we got hammered down, so we have an indecision candle forming here. We did not fill our gap yesterday either, so far we have 2 rejections to filling this gap, so we could invalidate this pattern at this point. RSI is weakening, our stochastic is overall starting to look a little weak. It looks like it wants to start to curl, keep an eye on that. Money flow is flashing a little bit bullish still. VWAP is still running up and our momentum's coming up. But if we look on one of our lower time frames, you can see we have some bearish divergences on our momentum. VWAP's bearish, money flow's struggling. So I definitely keep an eye on the next few candles. See if we can actually break away from this. On the 2 hour, we're somewhat near that support resistance. So if we're able to find some sort of local support here, and this candle actually becomes a tweezer bottom, we could get a break from here. However, if we get rejected away from here, we could see further downside. Over on our Bitcoin dominance, we are starting to take a little bit of a slide. So we filled about half of our drop. So we've taken away some of that heat. Usually when you get a big move one way or the other, you'll get a correction back to the other way. So it is very possible that we could come back to fill this gap. and that could also be why maybe our total isn't quite getting there yet. We'll have to kind of watch what CPI does tomorrow. That's going to be real key on how the market feels. If CPI comes in worse than expected, then we would likely see a pullback. As everyone knows, we have another rate hike. There's a lot of people in denial saying we don't have another rate hike, but it's coming, so keep an eye out for that. Stochastic is coming down, RSI is coming down, our momentum's coming down, money flow is coming out, our VWAP's making lower highs, and our VWAP is coming down. So overall, we have more bearish pressure here on the daily than we do any bullish pressure. Watch for retests. Over on Bitcoin futures, we are coming down out of our flag, so we are rejecting, coming back in. So we do not have that pattern holding currently, and we are sliding away from it. Our stochastic is running up, but starting to curve out. RSI is starting to lose strength. Our VWAP is starting to roll over. Our money flow is starting to get toward that neutral and could break through here and reject. Our momentum is coming down due to our VWAP coming out. So overall, we look like we could get a rejection here. I would watch the next candle or two very closely. If we do come up, come back in tomorrow, then it could still be on play. But if this candle does not come back in and we start to reject away, then we could have a bearish trend starting here. Real quick, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, visit our Discord link down below like the user Cripples did. I'd like to see more of you in there. If you're cripples and you're having any issues, please feel free to reach out to me and I'll help you out with whatever issue you are having so you can see the full server. But there are some real nice things in there, like our alerts and other things, like our print request. So you have to see what that's about. We are getting a rejection of our support here as well on Bitcoin, so we did not come back into this flag either, and we are starting to drop to the support of our other flag. So we're kind of sandwiched in between two flags currently. RSI is starting to roll off, stochastic is running up but starting to curve. VWAP is coming up but starting to taper off, so it is starting to lose some steam. Usually when you start to taper off, you'll get that peak and you'll drop. Kind of like there and there. Money flow is heading up slightly, but we are struggling to break above this 8 zone. If we don't manage to break above and hold, then we could ultimately reject from this area. Our momentum is overall pushing, kind of starting to round, so keep an eye on that. If that momentum does come down with that VWAP, then we're likely going to see a swing down, come back into this pattern, we could see it play out, and then we could see our bigger pattern, our bigger ascending channel that is a descending pattern play out. So keep that in mind, don't get too filled with hopium there. Oops, did not mean to go to graph yet. Over on the 4 hour, we are bouncing off our support here. So we did confirm support with our previous pattern. That is good for us. If we can continue and break this resistance, then we could continue upwards. However, we made a bit of a double top that I warned about on Twitter, and we reject away from it. I did also warn about that in the Discord too, so if you're not in the Discord, there's another reason to get in it and get your full access. Stochastic is dropping, momentum's coming down, RSI is coming down, and it's making a slight bounce. Our money flow is in the bullish territory, trying to make a bounce after trying to dip into the bearish territory. So that is a promising sign that we could continue bullish action from here. Our VWAP is trying to get a bit of a curl up, so that could bring our momentum back up if we are able to break through that neutral and gain bearish momentum. Over on the 2 hour, our RSI is heading up, momentum is trying to get a bit of a bounce as our VWAP's getting real close to that neutral. Keep an eye on the next few candles. If we do get a couple candles where we come up, break this resistance, and this VWAP flips bullish, we could be off to kind of stay within this other flag. However, if that does not happen and we fall away from that area, then we could see this flag play out like I kind of just mentioned. Money flow is struggling to make a new high. We are about 8 here, so if we don't manage to push through this and hold strongly, then we could see a rejection of this area. Our stochastic is trying to run up, so our stochastic's trying to make a bounce here. Watch if it manages to maintain that strength and keep going. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a bearish divergence on our momentum that brought us down. Our RSI is starting to taper off, stochastic's starting to weaken. Our money flow is hitting this 21 zone, which has been a local resistance area. Each time we hit it or got near it, we've been rejected away, so we've seen those dips. Keep an eye on that, because that could mean this could be our top and we could get a dip around the next couple candles. Our VWAP is trying to push forward. It is in the bullish territory. It's kind of curving though, so keep an eye on that, because if it does continue to curve out, then our momentum's green dot will not play out, and our momentum could likely reject away down toward more bearish territory. Finally, on graph, this time we do mean to go to graph. We are getting a little bit of a bounce here. Not quite to our point of control on our volume profile yet, but we are getting a decent move. Nothing too strong to write home about, but we are trying to solidify. If we do get a little bit of a dip from here, we could make a little mini cup and handle that could help push us a little higher, probably to the top of this support resistance area. That could also help us get sucked toward that point of control. RSI is overall weakening. Stochastic is running up. Our VWAP is heading up. Money flow is trying to break into the bullish territory, but it's kind of struggling here. So if we get hung up and reject away, we could see some bearish action start. Our momentum's starting to round off as our VWAP looks like it's getting kind of topped out. So if this VWAP starts to cool off, then we could be in for a downswing, especially since the money flow is weakening. Over on the 4 hour here, we have a green dot that wanted to bring us up after a reversal arrow, but it didn't take us anywhere. Stochastic is overall pushing down while price remains flat, so we have a bearish divergence forming. RSI is trying to head up, our momentum's got a red dot and is starting to curve out as our VWAP has broken in the bearish territory, so that could bring us down even further. Our money flow is in the bullish territory heading up, so we do have some strength continuing. We did make a bounce off that neutral, so that is good for us. However, if we don't invalidate this divergence, we could see a bit of a drop from here. Over on the 2 hour, we do have a kind of zigzag. We are kind of locked. This could be a bull flag, so that could be positive for us. That could help range us up. This could be like our sloppy, let's see, kind of hard to draw and kind of cup it, especially with the way that moved up. That would have been our cup handle we invalidated, but then we came back up for like another cup. But on the 4 hour looked a little cleaner. Our stochastic is running up, momentum's trying to come up with a green dot. Our money flow is making a bit of a bounce. We're meeting some resistance at 14, so if we start to taper away, especially since we're meeting resistance in the neutral zone, then we could lose strength and push into the bearish territory. VWAP is starting to head up, flipping into the bullish territory. So that is trying to make our momentum say we are getting a green dot and push higher. However, keep an eye on if it starts to round off very quickly or in the next few candles, as that would show we don't have very much strength and we're likely going to drop. Over on the 1 hour, we have a long lower shadow candle that shows sellers tried to drop us down, but buyers ultimately managed to step in. It did take us a little higher. We have kind of a little mini gap here around 10.9, almost 11 cents, so we could come up, fill that, then maybe that's where we get rejected. RSI is overall making lower highs, heading up though, continuing bullish momentum. Stochastic is making a strong bounce off that neutral and heading up. I would expect it to start to get tight and start to drop at some point just because of how much it ran up. Our money flow is at about 19, meeting some resistance here. So if we reject away from this zone, we could be in for another downswing, kind of like here. So we could see a new local low. We do have a little gap down here to fill yet. We kind of wicked to it, but did not fill. Usually you fill gaps and you fill wicks. So we have 2 there. So that could be a double confirmation that we could see that fill. Over on Anchor, we are getting a bit of a rejection from our pattern, kind of gridlocked here, making somewhat of a bear flag after our rejection. So we didn't quite go very far, but we do still have that potential. RSI is still tapering off. Our money flow isn't really going anywhere. Stochastic's trying to head up, but not really going anywhere. Our VWAP did break into the bullish territory, but it's not very strong. Our momentum does have a green dot, but if we get another red candle tomorrow, we could invalidate this with a bearish push down. Over on the 4 hour, we have a manipulation X that wants to bring us down, but we are trying to make a tweezer bottoms that wants to bring us up, so we'll have to see if we can kind of come back up. We did jump back into a gapped area. We came and filled that gap, and then we ultimately pushed up. Our RSI is falling, our stochastic is falling with it. Stochastic's looking pretty weak. It's diverged quite a bit away, so it could continue this trajectory. Momentum is coming down, starting to round as our VWAP's trying to round up too. So if our VWAP can gain some strength, then our momentum might be able to gain some strength here as well. We do have a red dot on our momentum, but with the way the VWAP's trying to curl, that red dot could get invalidated and we might see momentum just kind of flatten out and then taper up. Money flow is trying to flip bullish, so if it can manage to maintain strong bullish momentum, we could see this pattern get invalidated and possibly a retest, or maybe that just brings us to a retest, then we reject away one final time. Over on the 2 hour, we are getting a little bit of a push up here, nothing too exciting. We have a bit of a gap up here around 2.4, so we could fill that, keep that in mind. But then if we do fill that and we don't have very much strength at that point, we could reject away. Our RSI is ramping up. Our stochastic's trying to ramp up in the bearish territory, making a bounce, so if that can continue bullish, then that could give our RSI more strength. Money flow overall is starting to weaken. We are starting to taper off here, even though price is trying to go up. So keep an eye on that, because if the money flow weakens, then likely we would see a sell-off. Our VWAP is coming up. We are trying to press on that neutral, so our VWAP does want to flip bullish. That could give our momentum a green dot. If that does happen, then we could see our money flow kind of reject away and kind of curl back up and possibly continue this uptrend. Over on the 1 hour, RSI is trying to head up, stochastic's trying to head up. Our money flow overall is struggling to maintain above this 13 zone, so watch out as we could start a rejection from here. Our VWAP is in the bullish territory, meeting some resistance around a 10 where it's been rejected several times, so keep that in mind, because if we get rejected here, we could invalidate this green dot in our momentum wave and we could push lower. We do also have this lower gap here that we could fill, so it is very possible we'll come fill this higher gap and then get rejected, fill the lower gap, and could continue bearish action from there. Over on XRP, again, if you haven't already and you're finding value in our video, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and visit our links to join our Discord. We're trying to come back up toward this value area low, so we are continuing this rounding. Stochastic is running up, VWAP's trying to run up. Our money flow is trying to head toward that neutral, so if that can flip bullish, that would be a good sign for us. Our momentum is trying to come up with a double green dot, so we do have potential to push higher from here. This is kind of a long upper shadow candle though, so keep an eye on that, because if we get a red candle tomorrow, we could see further downside, retest these supports and possibly break them. However, if we get a green candle and push higher, then we could test this value area low here. Over on the 2 hour, we are getting a little bit of a drop after taking a little bit of a tear up, so we are kind of retesting some support resistance area. If we do make a bounce and come back up toward this zone, then we could solidify this as a bounce up, and this could be our local bottom. Our stochastic is falling, RSI is falling, momentum is coming out. Our money flow is starting to weaken, so keep an eye on that, but we are trending slightly up on the 2 hour, so we do have slight bullish momentum going for us. Just keep an eye if it starts to weaken and head toward that neutral. Our VWAP is coming out, so VWAP is in the bearish territory and getting pretty weak. Over on the 1 hour, we have a red X on this candle that brought us down pretty harsh. We have bearish divergence on our momentum that's bringing us down. Stochastic is coming down. Our RSI is taking a bit of a dip. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory, tried to go in the bullish territory and got rejected. So we are trying to come up and test some support resistance areas. If we get rejected here, we could see another swing down. Over on Algo, we don't really have very much. We tried to break our point of control, tried to go above it, and we wound up nowhere. Stochastic is starting to taper off, RSI is starting to taper, VWAP is starting to taper, money flow is starting to bend slightly, and our momentum's starting to come out. So much like I said yesterday, that could have been it for us. Over on the 4 hour, RSI is going kind of flat, momentum is coming out, our stochastic is starting to bend, our money flow is starting to bend with it, our VWAP is in the bearish territory, tried to come up and break bullish but got rejected. We are making a higher low with price, so we could try to break through again, at which point if we do break through, we could continue with bullish momentum. Over on the 2 hour, We are pushing pretty decent. That's yesterday's push, and then we rejected away, and we are coming into kind of a support resistance area here. If we zoom out, you can see we had some candle touches there, and down here. So that does make this a decent range for us to be able to try and push up from. RSI is trying to head up, stochastic trying to head up, our money flow is maintaining bullish strength, VWAP is heading up, momentum's trying to come up with a green dot as our VWAP has claimed bullish territory. So we could try to push forward if we continue with these signals. So we do look pretty promising, even though the daily is looking a little iffy. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a slight ascending triangle that could be forming here, so that could help push us higher. RSI is overall weakening though, so keep an eye out on that. Our stochastic does have a bullish divergence that wanted to bring us up, but we're starting to get bearish cross that wants to bring us down. VWAP is trying to head up, money flow is maintaining bullish momentum after again a bearish retest twice, and it didn't really maintain. So that is a positive sign that this could be a retracement, and then tomorrow we could continue to swing up. Momentum is coming up, our VWAP is heading up pretty decently. Just keep an eye out if we come into some resistance around this 18-17 zone, as we could get a rejection from that then. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night.